Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is September the 18th. The Cardinals are 76 and 75 with 11 games back or left. They are only 7 games back. So, what I'm hearing is there's still a pretty good chance.
I think they're officially at 0% from Fangraphs. But
I think they've
yeah, I
been there for
just
a while.
the only thing that I think the organization cares about right now is trying to finish above 500 so they don't have the first back-to-back seasons with under 500 in like 50 years or whatever it is.
Hey, shout out to this organization, then go ahead and try to be over 500. That's great goals for them to have. First off, I think the number one thing we ought to start talking about, because there's plenty to get into if we want to. There's stuff we can obviously leave for the off season. We got a long, long time to start dissecting the 2025 Cardinals because there is going to be a lot to dissect. But first off, in my
Or maybe
opinion,
not very
I
much.
I think we start with today. They put Lance Lynn on the IL, obviously ending his St. Louis Cardinals career. I've talked before. One of my all time. He lives for me in my 50 years of watching baseball. Really 40 something because I am whatever. You know what I mean. He is on my Mount Rushmore of Cardinals pitchers for me that I got to watch from 2011 to 2015. What a run he had and how integral he was on 5 teams that went deep into the playoffs every year. Back when that was fun and the Cardinals used to do that.
Yeah.
And then to bring him back, and he had a really good start. It obviously did not end the way Lance Lynn wanted it to end, as far as go the way he wanted to go, I guess. But shout out to Lance. I don't know if they eventually give him a red jacket here in St. Louis. I don't know if he has
Yes, he will.
enough of those numbers, but
No, he will. That's not even a question.
I hope so. I hope so.
It's not
But
even a question. There's no question. Like first off, World Series champion, obviously, went to another World Series. I think they went to five straight NLCSs in that era, I
what
believe.
it was either 4 or 5.
2011 through 2014, 11,
Yeah,
12,
yeah.
13,
Either way, they
14.
went deep into the playoffs every year.
15, they
Um,
didn't, right? So four in a row. They went to four in a row NLCSs with Lance Lynn on the team.
yeah,
Sixth in Cardinals history in strikeouts. Um, I mean, he's a no doubt Cardinals Hall of Famer to me. There shouldn't
good.
even be a question. If Matt Holliday is one, he's also one. I think
In
they
my
have.
mind, he is. You never know. You know what I mean?
I mean, he was the best pitcher from 2011 to 2015. Yeah, maybe Adam Wainwright, but he was right
Yeah. And
behind
then
him.
obviously
Like,
in 11, you had Carpenter. But yes, I agree.
I mean, like from that in that 2011 to 2015 stretch,
Agreed.
he was probably. Yeah, I think Wayno lost. He lost 2011, obviously, so he might have been the best pitcher of those 4 years, 5 years. Either way, regardless, he's a Cardinal Hall of Famer to me. Just like if Matt Carpenter's in, he should be in as well, like without a doubt.
We agree.
Um, but yeah, incredible career. I loved it last night. He was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my last start being in Busch Stadium and being a win." So he probably went to the front office and said, "Hey, my knee's acting up."
Yeah.
So obviously I love Lance Lynn, and also by the way, like we said, he had some really bad starts. 3.84 ERA is what he ended the year
Right.
with, more than similar to Kyle Gibson. They did exactly what you paid them to do. The
I
problem
agree.
was that they paid their idea for the season was to get by with starters who didn't have much upside. Those two were more than serviceable. I think if you were to ask the Cardinals what was the one thing Lance Lynn didn't do that you hoped he did, it would just be the innings. He didn't eat enough. He obviously had a little bit of an injury stint. But all in all, it was a lot of fun to see him back with the Cardinals. And I'm gonna look back on it glad it happened. I'm really happy he didn't have a Miles Michaelis season back with the
I
Cardinals.
agree. 7-4 on the season. Also, like obviously that's not where you thought you would
Undefeated at
be.
home.
But yeah, I mean,
Like that's
Lance
awesome.
Lynn was
That's
not the
great.
reason you are 1 game over 500 right now.
No, if anything, he's a big part of the reason why you are one game over 500.
Agreed. Anyway, I just thought that that's where we'll maybe start. I mean, again, integral part for me as far as the last 15 years for the Cardinals. Obviously, he left, had some great years when he
Mm.
was gone as well, and then just cool for him. You think he retires? You think this is probably it for Lance?
I would imagine that I don't know. Like, I don't want to say yes for sure. I think if he wanted to come back and pitch, there would be more than one or two teams that would like to have Lance Lynn back in their rotation. Um, but I could see him hanging it up. It kind of is a really good ending to his career, I think. If he wanted to go that way, I think it would be a good bookend to his career.
Are we in agreement that it won't be here?
He's they wouldn't have shut him down if he was coming back.
Okay.
Like that
I
was this is your last start as a Cardinal. It
yeah.
went as well as we could have hoped. It was in Busch Stadium. It was a win. He went 6 scoreless. Like, yeah, that's where you end. That's how you end.
Where do you stand on Kyle Gibson for next year? What do you think they do there?
I think I've said this a couple of times. I have no. I think Kyle Gibson is a good pitcher, and I think he would really help the Cardinals in 2025. That being said, I don't think my thinking right now is not, oh, I hope the Cardinals are a contender in 2025. Um, I would rather him not be here. Like, I think they can contend, but I think I'd rather that be with young guys than Kyle, more stopgap type pitchers.
Okay, so let's get to that because that segues very well. By the way, I used to think Segway was Segway. It's not.
It's Segue.
Segu.
That is what it looks like, yeah.
I wonder how many high school Mike papers were written with Segway, Segway. And
Do
I
you think
got
it was
him
like
back with a
Subway?
red marker and didn't even understand why.
I don't know how many times you use that word, but probably not often.
Well, to be fair, probably if I used it, I did spell it right because I probably stole it right from a book that I put into a paper somewhere. So that is
Yeah.
probably what happened. So
Yeah.
anyway, just wanted
Plagiarism,
to get that
great.
out. Well, not on purpose. Well, maybe. Well, back then we
Yes,
had
that
books. We did not have
plagiarism.
internet. We did not have the internet. So I was using books and parenthetical citations. I was doing the best that 17-year-old Mike could do. So let's let that one go. So anyway, to segue, that's what I wanted. Let's talk a little bit. We got a lot. We got a lot of time that you and I are going to be dissecting the offseason, the roster. But I really got to thinking about this at the golf course. It's been raining a lot here. Had a lot of time in the cart barn by just myself. So was thinking about the Cardinals going forward next year. I'd like to get your take, but let me normally I get your take first and I react. I kind of want to give you my take. And then I want you to react to that. And I want to know what
Let
you
Mike
think.
cook.
Let Mike cook. Hashtag let Mike cook. All right. Here's what I would like to see them do. I have now resigned myself that if he's interested in coming back, let Goldie come back. But for a year, if that's what it is, I'm not saying let's extend him to a max deal. I'm not saying that. Unless
Max
you are
deal.
prepared. Hold on. You know what I mean? Not an extension. That's what I
We're
meant.
an
Not a
NBA
max deal.
podcast now,
Yeah,
apparently.
no. We're not that. Unless you are committed to letting Luke and Baker platoon with Alec Burleson. And I don't know that this organization is. If they are, can I just say I am fine with that? So either way, I'm okay with that at first base. But I don't with Goldie, I don't think you bring him back to give him 140 starts. Let's say that. After that, I don't know that there's a spot on this offense that for me next year I'm going out to sign a free agent to bring in for next year, just for the next year class. Now, I have not dug deep into it. I know Santander's out there. I know there's guys out there who could help you, but those guys are going to cost you a lot of money. And I think you've got Nolan, you've got Wilson coming back, you've got a young core that, in my opinion, should make up your 13 guys on your everyday roster. And if it's Goldschmidt or it's Baker, I'm okay with either, to be honest. You know where I stand. I would love Lukin back, but I'm also have warmed up to the idea that if they bring Goldie back and he wants to retire a Cardinal and next year's it and whatever it is, we have no idea what his plans are. So I'm just putting this
He
out
could
there
play
as a
for 3
fan.
more years to shape his
But
son.
I am okay not going out and signing a veteran outfielder. I'm okay not signing a veteran infielder. I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with you get 13 guys in here. Let's let them play and you can figure out at bats as we go. And I know that people will say, well, that's been a problem here. I get it. But there's 162 games. There's a lot of at bats out there. That's where I am. Maybe that will change for me in the next 4 to 6 months. But I kind of like to see that.
Here's the thing with this team. If you are going to try and win next year by throwing money at the problem again, then it needs to be like a Christian Walker and Anthony Santander offseason, where you like legitimately are going for it. You're not half-assing it. I don't even want that, but I am saying if they're saying we're trying to compete next year, then you have to actually make changes that make you a contender. Don't just sign whatever this year's Sonny Gray. It would be Santander, honestly, or Wilson Contreras is, and say, oh, that's enough, because it wouldn't be. The offense isn't good enough right now. So I'm with you. I wouldn't bring anyone in. The only thing that I would do is if you can make a trade for a guy with team control, that would be here for 3 or 4 years, like Brent Rooker. That'd be a guy I'd be really interested in. But I would not sign any free agents, honestly, unless it's like a reliever or two.
you know my feelings on Brent Rooker. Like if you follow me on Twitter, you know my love for Brent Rooker. I just wonder if that's a guy who right now that is peak value if you're the Oakland A's, or next year just the A's. Right,
Mhm.
we're going to eliminate the
So
Oakland.
was Sean Murphy, to
So
be fair, what they
if
get.
if right, well, we've seen what's happened to Sean Murphy. By the way, he is a
I
backup
know, but I'm
catcher
just
in Atlanta.
saying, like, they don't make good trades.
No, I understand
There
that.
was they made a trade with Sean Murphy that had William Contreras being traded in that trade, and they didn't get him.
Right. Right. No,
So,
I'm in
like,
agreement. But let me ask you this then. Can I ask you this? If you go get a guy like Rooker, right? And everybody's going to say, well, it's going to be Herrera. Well, they've got three catchers that are like their top prospects. Well, you got Langoliers there. I think their number one or number two prospect is a catcher on his way. So I don't know if they're going to want to add another catcher.
no,
So
he's not
they
enough
might, but I
anyway.
don't think that that's the guy that they would be looking for.
No,
Like, what does that do? Like, if you're looking at the outfield, it would have to be a Nolan Gorman sent back, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. So then you move Donovan to second
that's
base.
not even close to enough.
We agree with that. I'm asking you what does that do to your outfield? And if you had Brent Rooker,
I don't care. He's hitting 40 home runs in the middle of the order.
agreed.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I don't think like that. But what I'm saying is if you're adding a middle of the order bat, it has to be displacing assets to bring in someone with team control. Like if it's okay, we want to commit to Donovan at second base every day. And maybe they are okay with letting Nootbaar go. And it's like we're gonna bring this guy in. I'm not even like advocating for this. I'm just saying that's the only way I make offensive additions
Okay,
is if they're here for a long time and cheaply. I don't want, I like Santander a lot. And in the world where we thought we were really close, and maybe the Cardinals believe that, I don't believe they're all that close to being a great team. Then I would be all for that. I think that'd be a great move. And my answer to your question about the outfield would be I don't care. None of them are producing.
I agree.
Let's be honest about this. When was the last time the Cardinals had an outfield that was together for 2 years in a row?
I I couldn't tell you one.
We thought it was going to be Bader, O'Neill, and Carlson, and all three of them are gone now. But we traded Bader the next year, and then we traded Carlson and O'Neill the next year.
By the
Like,
way, not long before that, we thought it was going to be Grichuk, Piscotty, and Pham, with a Rosarina
right.
and Garcia coming.
All of these guys have been traded away, like all of them.
Yeah, all of them, every single one are gone.
And the ones that they seemingly choose, they choose the wrong ones. Like, right,
And
Randy
then they also choose to play the wrong ones, which if you follow Kareem on Twitter, he's been outlining quite a bit. And so if not, go follow him. You'll figure out what I'm saying. It's outrageous what's happening.
Michael Ciani's the worst hitter, everyday hitter they've played this much since 2000.
Yes.
About like every stat. And that's not, once again, Michael Ciani, good player if he's in his role. His role is not what they're putting him in right now.
No, his
I
role
don't
is a
understand.
defensive replacement. That's it.
Right. And a really good, and he'd be so good to have out there.
Yes.
And I'd be perfectly fine if he was starting once a week or twice a
Yep.
week. But he should not be the everyday player. Obviously, Victor Scott should be up here. It's a joke that he's not. We've talked about that a lot. The one thing we didn't mention. I wanted to say also, I agree with you. I would play if I wouldn't trade Gorman. I just wouldn't. Like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know what you're getting back, but I know it's not worth what he can provide. He'd be playing every day. Donovan would be playing every day. I don't know what that means for JC, but once again, I don't know if I care. How about this? If one of those two guys has a bad first, is like we're in the All-Star break and they're continuing, like Gorman continues to be as bad as he was, then maybe JC's the guy you say that's our future. But for now, that's what I would do. And maybe you have to platoon some guys. Maybe JC does play against lefties, or maybe I don't know. I think Arenado being here really complicates things because that would open up a lot of space. But I don't think we need to go down that path because they're not trading him, so it's not
They're
even worth
not.
it.
But let me ask you this. How much, though, do you trust that they play the right young guys in 25 when they didn't do it? They haven't done it in 24. And honestly, their track record does not suggest that they will make the correct decisions to put those guys in the correct spots to be successful.
This goes back to what we said last week, or what I said last week. I can't assume what they're going to do until I know who's running the team.
Past
So
predictions, past performances predict future outcomes,
there's no
correct?
past performance if it's a new Pobo. That's what I'm saying. If Mo's here, then no, I have no faith. I also think this is maybe the first time that I've done this point. I don't think Oli Marmol can be back next year. Um, I
Really?
I don't, and it's not necessarily. I don't think he's gotten a fair shake. So I'm just going to say that out front. I don't think any of this has been fair for him. But I don't think that this or fan base and organization can move forward with someone who is so closely tied to John Mozeliak. I don't think I don't think it's possible for the fans to see the vision if he is still the manager.
Do we agree that if Mo is back, Oli is back? If Mo, so
Yes.
you're saying if Mo is gone, Skip Schumacher's our new manager?
No, it can't be him either.
Okay, good. I was glad to hear you say that because I
And I
love
think he's a
Skip.
great manager. Like I don't
Agreed.
want to. I just
Love
think it
Skip.
needs to be someone else.
Can I also say that I think that Oli, like, given the correct people around him and with the correct roster, can also be a successful manager.
I agree.
We saw it when he won 93 games
I
his
think he's
first
a
year.
good manager. I just think if you're the organization and you're trying to move forward, I don't think you can do it. And it's not necessarily it's not fair to him. I think he's a fine manager. I think he'll go somewhere else and get a chance eventually and probably be a pretty good manager. I just don't think that it will work here. And I also don't like the way he's handled the last couple weeks. I don't like that Victor Scott wasn't playing. That's his choice. Why Michael Gianni doesn't have to be in the lineup. They only sit Victor Scott down after he wasn't playing. Let's keep that in mind. He stopped playing Nolan Gorman. He benched Walker and Newbar and guys like this who need to be playing every
Herrera.
day. Herrera, right? He hasn't done a great job lately either. And so I just think if you're moving forward past Mo, you give Heim or whoever it is the opportunity to hire their own manager. If they say they want to keep Ollie, then I think you obviously let him make that decision. But I just don't know if he should be back next year.
Okay. All right. I did not expect to hear that from you tonight. So that's
And it's not even
good
that and I
podcasting.
hate this because like, I don't think he's a bad manager. And I think 2022 showed that. I just think if we're talking about how do they move forward, you can't move forward with the guy that's reminding everyone of the past 2 years.
Yeah, I think we agree with that. I think that's going to be interesting to see what they do. Before we get to the pitchers, just a couple things. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you all. If you're on Spotify or you're on Apple, please follow us there. If you're on YouTube, joining us, awesome. Hit that subscribe button. We're getting there. We're getting close to 800, I think. We're getting creeping up on. So we want to get to that 1,000 mark. That would be fantastic. And then just keep going. But more importantly, we like to have the more people here joining us, the better. I will say also, I will plug, Caleb and I will be on the Rambling Redbirds podcast with Jake Wood. For those of you who, if you don't follow him, give him a follow as well. We will be on there Sunday. Give us a listen. Caleb will come with very bad comments, and I will try to cook as best as I can.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. We'll be
No,
previewing the Saints
fair,
Eagles
like
matchup.
honestly, Jake's a good dude. Go check him out. We're going to be with him. We're looking forward to that. This is going to be our first time on another podcast together. Like we've done them separately, or you have, but
They don't invite you.
no, and I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine. 100%. Did think I was playing in a golf tournament Sunday. We were going to do it Saturday. Found out literally this week, golf tournament Saturday. Pretty glad that I actually looked at the date on the flyer for that. So golf tournament Saturday. We'll be recording Sunday. And then we do know what comes right after the recording of Sunday is another Saints beatdown of another fucking football team that doesn't matter to anybody.
You know, a team that can't stop the run and can't rush the passer. I like our odds.
No, and does not have their best like wide receiver there. Like, come on.
Yeah,
You think
it's almost a trap game because everything's pointing towards
it 100%. And then they got the Falcons the next week, and then the Chiefs on Monday Night Football after that. But do you think Clint was just having a glass of bourbon on Monday night, just jotting down notes, giggling like a madman when he was watching Kirk Cousins and that dreadful Falcons team march down the field on them? He had to be, right?
He was very.
He's like Alvin called. How I got something to tell you, Alvin, and you're not going to believe what you're going to do this Sunday.
I think he was very happy that Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier ran the way they did.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we've got.
I'm excited.
Okay, let's get to this. Here's what I want to talk to you about, and then anything else you want to get into, we can. Pitching wise next year, I think this is sort of, in my opinion, almost more important because you've got the young guys on offense. Is how they go about what they do on the pitching side. And I am really intrigued. I think we're in agreement Lance Lynn will be gone, right? I think we're in agreement Kyle Gibson will be gone.
I'm not in agreement he will be gone. I'm in agreement he should be gone.
Okay.
Tell me if Mo's here or not. If Mo's here, he's back. If he's not, he's gone.
Okay. All right. You're right. That's I mean, that is very, very true. The big thing to me is that Miles Michaelis cannot be on this team in 2025. Like he just can't be. I don't know how they go about it. I don't know how they figure it out. I don't know what they do with Steven Matz. I don't know what. Obviously, you've got Sonny Gray.
Trade them both.
Palante has earned a spot in the
Yes.
rotation, no doubt. My opinion, back end, but doesn't matter in
Sonny
2025. Let him get
Gray, I mean,
innings.
not Sonny Gray. Andre Palante outdueled Paul Skeens yesterday.
Yes,
He went
that's why
seven. He went
he's
an
in your
inning longer
rotation.
and struck out more people. Like he legitimately outdueled him.
McGreevy is
I,
back, so they're getting another look at
yeah,
him. That's good.
he should be starting. By the way, I've heard long relief. Why? No, do not put him in the bullpen. You freaking fools. Put him in the rotation. God, you guys cannot be this dumb. If he comes out of the
Well,
bullpen, like legitimately fire everyone. And this goes for the rotation. I don't know. Like Andre Palante definitely should be in it. Sonny Gray will be in it. I would trade Eric Fetty. And like
oh,
I
I
don't
forgot
know.
about him. That's Miles Michaelis light.
Trade him. Trade him. He's making $8 million. Someone will take him. Trade
By
him.
the way, can we go back? I would like to rewind about a month and a half to where we were totally wrong, and when we were praising Mo for the trade that was made. When
I
now
think it was a
Tommy,
good trade at the time.
it
I mean, it
okay,
was
that's
like he got one of the best starters on the market and gave up a guy who hadn't played all year.
and now, well, we know what Tommy's doing in LA.
I mean, yeah, but I think no one ever thought Tommy Edman wasn't a good player. It's just like I don't. We're talking about where we're gonna play these guys. I don't need Tommy Edman log jamming that. I don't.
Oh,
Like I'd much
okay,
rather have Victor
all right,
Scott in center field next year than Tommy Edman. Let's see what he's got. Because
yeah.
Tommy's gonna be a free agent soon. And by the way, he's
But
making $8 million.
you're gonna have Michael Ciani in center field next year, so
Well, then
get ready
that's a
for that.
different problem that unrelated to Tommy Edman.
Yeah. I honestly I forgot about Fetty completely.
But once
Like
you
just
like,
to block
he's
him out.
making so little amount of money, and he has had still an overall really good year. I think he's still in the threes, like around a 3.6-ish ERA for the year. Like, there's someone that would probably like him for something.
Steven Matz probably too at the end of a contract where you're not
I
really
would think
tied into
so. Even if you
anything.
have to pay $3 or $4 million of it, fine, pay it
Yeah.
and let him go. Like pay Miles Michaelis. If you have to eat all 18 million, I don't care. Does he have a no
Here's the
trade
thing.
clause? That's something I wanted to look up. I need to look
Well,
up.
hold on. Let me ask you this before you look that up. Like they got to have somebody to start. So you've got Gray and Palante. If you're getting rid of Gibson, Fetty, you're getting rid of Matz and Michaelis. Like it's not going to be McGreevy, like Graceffo and Zach Thompson. Like is that what you're wanting? Like,
Yeah, it is. Why are we keeping these guys? So we can be mediocre again?
do you
Why?
think keeping them
I
gives you
don't
any value at the trade deadline next year?
I don't care about the trade deadline. The trade deadline
Okay.
happens when you're 2 months away from the season being over.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
I don't care. Well, we're not the Pirates, who by the way kept their oldest Chapman. Like
Yeah, that
I don't
was an
want
odd
to think
move.
about the trade deadline because guess what? I'd rather have the 4 months before the trade deadline to see what Michael McGreevy can do than I would
Yeah,
let Kyle Gibson go be a 4-4 guy again and then hopes you get a 35th ranked prospect.
right. That you'll end up cutting anyway.
Or that will never do anything. Or
Right.
even if he is good, he won't do anything when he gets here because you can't manage him.
The one thing I've seen a lot of is let's go ahead and get Quinn Matthews at the bigs next year. I
I
mean, if he
would.
come, you right out spring training, you would go ahead and do
If
that.
he earns it, but no,
Okay.
I plan on him being in my rotation, if not with an injury, not to start the year, but at some point he should be up there. Like he
Okay,
is
that's
one of those
fair.
guys he's one of those guys that he's ready. Like he is ready to make that leap in the next, let's say 3 months of the baseball season. Um Now if he struggles in Memphis out the gate, and then yeah, then you reevaluate. But I think as of right now, he's on track to being a member of your rotation for like at least July on next year.
Yeah. Okay, I like
And I'd
that.
at least
Yeah.
open a spot to allow that if he earns away. Like
What are you
I
doing
would
with
not
Ryan
block him.
Helsley?
I think you have to trade him if you're not trying to contend. Or you have to extend him. I don't think Ryan Helsley is worth every bit as much as Josh Hader, in my opinion, and what he got on the trading market. So I don't think you would be able, if Helsley is smart, and he is smart, and he's gone to arbitration before, he wants to get the money, rightfully so. I don't think you can extend him because I don't think he'll sign one that's reasonable. Um, so if you're going this way that we're talking about, where it's kind of like taking a step back from trying to be in the middle, like they've been for the last 5 years, which by the way will still get them in the middle because their team's not going to be that much different if they do what we're saying. I think it makes a lot of sense to capitalize on his value. Sadly, it sucks that they didn't take advantage of having the second best. I mean, not second best, top 5 closer in Cardinal history, right there with Isringhausen, Lee Smith, Bruce Sutter, and probably Trevor Rosenthal, and then him. That's probably top 5 in Cardinal history. It sucks, but it's where they're at.
Shot at Al Robosky right there.
No, he's just not as good as the other 5. Just because he's on TV all the
Todd
time doesn't mean
Worrell.
he's better.
Shot at Todd Worrell too.
Who would you take off that list, Dad?
No, I don't
Trevor
know.
Rosenthal was a 2-time All-Star. So was Ryan
I don't know
Helsley.
what Lee Smith's overall Cardinal numbers are compared to Todd Worrell's overall.
Was he
Cardinal
here in
numbers.
82?
No, wait. Come on. Did you? Okay. I would like everyone to understand
No, that
this
was
is the
Bruce
St. Louis
Sutter,
Cardinals
right?
podcast.
Hold on.
Do you
That was
not
Bruce
have you
Sutter.
not seen Daryl Porter hugging Bruce Sutter at the end of the 82 championship?
Sorry, I misspoke.
World
I
Series?
thought he won a World Series here. I was wrong.
No, he did not. He was late 80s, right? Early 90s.
90, 91, 92,
Yeah.
93.
We had Eckersley in there too at some point.
I mean, the reason I put Lee Smith in there is because he led the league in saves twice as a Cardinal, and he also has the all-time saves record for a season, which Ryan Helsley's close to beating, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do there. Let's just say if they do go ahead and deal Helsley, who would you like to see them give opportunity to saves for next year? Ryan Fernandez?
I don't care. I just don't like whoever earns it. I don't know. Like I want to go in with the set closer. If they do this, like if they keep Helsley, I really want to understand it. Unless they're going to extend him, like I just want it. Unless they're trying to, sorry.
Whoa.
Unless they're trying to be in the middle ground again, which I'm so against them even doing that. Then it just doesn't make any sense. And this is all. It's so hard to talk about this offseason without knowing
really
who's
is.
running it. Because if Mo's here, I think they're going to try to win 87, 88 games. And it'll probably fail and fall short again, but you're keeping Ryan Helsley if you're trying to do that. If someone else is here, I don't know what they're going to do. But I really just don't care. Like if it's a new guy, let him, hopefully a time bloom. He's good at finding relievers, so who knows? I bring back Andrew Kittredge. I'll say that.
Looking back at 2024, give me your top 2 guys that were the biggest disappointment of 2024 for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado.
Okay.
I genuinely, like, there are other guys like Nolan Gorman and guys that can be on that list, but I don't know how you can talk about this season without not directly pointing at both of them. Did you know that Paul Goldschmidt, I don't know where it's at now, but yesterday I looked, Paul Goldschmidt had a higher OPS than Nolan Arenado on the year.
I can look right now, actually.
They have to be close now. I don't know. I know Goldie hit a triple today. I don't know where they're at right now. He might have fallen back below.
Arenado's at 718 and Goldie's at 714 right now.
Okay, so he did pass him back up. It's obviously
those are both just. I mean, I know what isn't this
I'm
year
just
like
saying,
right around 700 average though? What is the average?
I think average is right around 720.
720, so below it.
That's what it was at least a couple weeks ago. My whole point is everyone has dogged on Goldie all year. Arenado has been equally as ineffective offensively.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how you can talk about this season being a disappointment and not bring up the 2 guys making like a fourth of your salary combined and just being complete and utterly disappointing the entire year.
Okay. Conversely, who are your 2 biggest surprises of the 2024 season?
Surprises, Mason Wynn for sure.
It doesn't have to be surprised. Who stood out? Like, if you were to give a team MVP this year, who would your 2 guys be?
Can I give you 3?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Mason Wynn would be my MVP. He's been the best player all year long, in my opinion. Because of Contreras and his injuries, he just hasn't played enough games. Burleson he legitimately was the only reason you were in contention for a while. He was driving.
He's really struggled lately.
Scoring. Yeah, that's fine, but he showed me that he can be an everyday hitter, or at least an everyday hitter against righties. He shouldn't be batting second, but he can be batting 6th or 7th in your lineup. And I thought he'd be a bench bat for a while. And then obviously Andre Palante has been awesome. So those would be my 3 guys that definitely surprised me. And honestly, maybe you could argue have been your 3 best players outside of Contreras.
Yeah. Can I say that one of my biggest disappointments was Sonny Gray?
Yes, because it's relative to expectations, but I don't think.
I think that's
fair.
it. Okay, and I think you're right.
He's been good,
but he started off so well, And then we got the answers of, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. And then we didn't do it for like 6 straight starts.
Yeah.
And that was just sort of disappointing. But I also do think you're right in the fact that he was placed in the role of being a team of an ace. And I don't think Sonny Gray is not an ace. He's a great pitcher. He's a top of the rotation
He
guy.
could have ace like years, but you shouldn't bank
Agreed.
on
And
it.
he could be a frontline starter, number 1 or a number 2. But I think people in St. Louis all of a sudden saw, oh, he's your number 1. That means ace. Guys, those are 2 separate things. Those are
Well,
massively different.
I've also kind of I hate the ranking of pitchers. I look at them as playoff starters.
Yeah.
Like you need 3 of them. He was one of them. He's a playoff starter for sure.
Yeah.
The one thing I have a couple of things on him. One, after today, he is now the 9th pitcher. Crazy, there's only been 9 in Cardinal history to strike out 200 people in a season. And saying that there's only been 9, like kind of embarrassing to be honest with you. Regardless, he struck out 203 guys in 166 innings. That's legitimately amazing strikeout stuff. Like the strikeout.
I should take back what I said. Obviously,
I mean, no, because I agree. He has been disappointing. He has a 3.8 ERA, which is fine. That's a good. I mean, he's had a good season. Yeah, but I mean, he's gone about it completely differently, right?
Agreed.
Like, you look at some of Lance. I mean, let's talk about the first 2 months of Lance Lynn, and I don't want to bash on him, but it was so lucky what was happening. Let's be honest. Either way, he has a good fit. Like he had a good year. It's disappointing. I don't think it's as disappointing as, like, I don't know, say freaking the 2 I named, or Nolan Gorman or Jordan Walker or Lars Nootbaar, like those guys.
Yeah.
The entire lineup, except for Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson.
What that's a name that I had written down to talk about, and I think I accidentally erased it. But what, like Lars Nootbaar, I've said it for 3 years. I don't get it. I know that and I'm not bashing him. I know that he's a good player, but I've never understood that this guy's a future superstar. Like I don't get that
about anyone.
Oh, I think it was.
No, I think it's ridiculous to say that about anyone.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's like, Adley Rutschman. Like everyone knew he was going to be a star, and even then, I've read you his numbers. He's literally been Lars Nootbaar this year. So I don't like. He's still above average hitter. He's just not. He's not a top 4 hitter in our lineup like we were hoping he'd be. That's right. I mean, that's what it is. Like I still think if he ever has a full healthy year, he'll be back to the 20% above league average that he's been. He just can't get his footing under him because he's just hurt all the time.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't know what you do. I still think he should be in your lineup every day next year because I think he has potential to be really good.
So would you like to see him in left and Walker in right? Is that what you would like to see next year?
Scott in center. That would be my
Scott in center with Siani in that outfield as well.
He'd be on the bench every day.
Right. I'm just saying, though, he'd be one of your outfielders on the roster.
Yeah. And then I think it would be smart to get a right-handed bat as well. They can play outfield. But like not
what former Cardinal?
Just
Randall Grichuk.
Tommy Pham. Bring Tommy Pham back.
It'll be Randall Grichuk will be a Cardinal next year.
I wouldn't hate that. I would actually like that. But
I mean, it's not a terrible move.
No, it'd be just fine. That's exactly the type of guy I'm talking about.
Right.
Kevin Pillar I think he's retiring. Michael A. Taylor, with someone like that, someone that can, but not him because he sucks.
No,
someone
not
else.
Michael A. Taylor. Please.
He had a really good year at the Twins.
Yeah,
Willie Castro. How did we get that guy? That guy's been awesome.
That's fine. Is there anything else we really need to talk about before next week?
I don't know. Like this sucks.
It does.
It sucks
it's terrible because
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, we thought we'd be talking about the playoffs. Although by we I mean you, because you picked them to win 88 games and I picked them to win 80. So
have
really,
you gone back and checked and see that's actually what I guessed?
I absolutely did. Yes.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, 88 games wouldn't have gotten them in the playoffs this year. The Mets are going to win 90. No, the Mets are going to win 90 games probably.
Yeah. I picked 80. I think I'm going to be a little light on that. Although, who knows? 11 games left.
I wouldn't. They just got swept. I mean, they just got swept by the Blue Jays, dude.
Blue Jays? Yeah.
I don't even think they didn't even face like their best pitcher.
Well, but I will also be fair that on June 1st, when I told you I'd make a decision or an assessment.
Yeah, you killed them is what you did.
I did. I completely destroyed their voodoo, their mojo, everything by saying that this is a playoff team. If Mo made the right moves, which he did not. But actually he did
every year.
But it didn't matter because at that point it didn't matter.
You're telling me that the team could be good if their GM makes a good team?
I mean, I can. The roster
that's like the dumbest thing.
I also never once took into account how badly we would mismanage the 26 and 40 man, even though I knew that we've done it for 10 straight years. And I did not take into account how bad that would actually be. So that is
Yeah,
fair.
I want to ask you a question because I don't know where I stand on this, and I kind of struggle because I think it's fair to view Mo and Ollie as a unit, even though I don't think they're as connected and in lockstep with every decision as we think. Like I think Mo would have probably liked to see Victor Scott playing every day, I would guess. Um, do you think who do you blame more for guys like Scott and Gorman still being in AAA? Um, Ollie or Mo or both? Like those guys because they weren't playing enough here. That's why they got sent down to get playing time.
Which is why I would that's a great question because and I don't know the dynamic. I don't know the conversations
I
that
don't
are had
either.
there, and no one does. So you can't like anybody who says anything or is simply speculating because they do not know.
I
But
will
I do
say,
think
hold on,
my
before
here
you
hold
go
on,
on.
hold on.
Well, I wanted to
Yeah, go
piggyback
ahead.
off that. I will say everything they've made a point to say that Ollie has the lineup card. I don't know how accurate that is, but if they're going to say that so that Ollie doesn't get flack for being a yes man, then I think we do have to hold Ollie accountable for the lineups he does right.
Agreed. And I also would say then you also have to hold Mo accountable because if I am the Pobo and you are the manager of the team, and I pull Victor Scott up after our discussions, we decided let's get him up here, and the decision is let's get him up here to play, and then you bench him for 4 straight games. There would be 4 conversations that would have been had before we got. I was giving a number 6. Okay,
I
so
know, I'm just
six.
saying it's
There would
even
have been
worse.
there would have been right. There would have been at least 5 discussions we would have had on why are we doing this? Like what is happening? And obviously, I understand that you have the lineup card as the manager, but if the discussions are had between us, which again I'm speculating, I do not know, but if they're had between you and I, which is how I would run it, right? Then the decision would have been made that he was playing. Unless they are both so inept, the decision was to call him up, and we'll just see.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think if Mo hadn't hired 3 managers already, so let's say he would have hired this would be his second manager currently. Do you think Ollie would have been fired already?
No,
I do.
you do.
I think he would have been the scapegoat last year.
I mean, he's already done that with Schilt.
That's what I'm saying. If he hadn't done it twice already, do you think he would have done
Yeah.
it with Ollie? I do.
I mean,
I think the only
here's the
I
thing.
think the only reason he's still here is because Mo knows he can't hire another manager.
I understand the frustration that Cardinals fans have with Oli Marmol. I do. I don't
Mhm.
understand the hate. I understand the frustration. All right. Those are, in my
Yeah.
opinion, those are 2 separate things. Um, but I also know that it all sits at the foot of the guy who creates the roster, who makes the moves, who spends the money. Like that, it has to. You can
It's
only
not
do
Ollie's
what you can
fault.
do. No,
It's
it's
not
not.
Ollie's fault, but
I'm
he
not saying
has
he's not
done things.
culpable in some of it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But this is not his fault for both years. You look at when he was handed a roster that he could work with, they won 93 games. The last 2 years' rosters have been incredibly flawed and incredibly mishandled. Now, you brought this up earlier. I think Ali has been a part of that mishandling in the last
Lately.
potentially 2 months.
I think lately, yeah. I don't think he
Well, I
was
think when
for a
Tommy
long
Pham
time.
got here, who should have just been a platoon right-handed bat and was starting
Mhm.
every day over Jordan Walker. I
After
think
like
we
the
can
first
start
week.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, I do. I agree. I think for the most part, Ali this year was doing a good job with what he had. And then I do think lately, for some reason, he has done things that I don't think make much sense at all. Um, And earlier when I said I think Ollie should probably not be here next year if Mo isn't here, it's more about perception than it is about like he can't do it. I think he can. I've heard, this is going to be the second straight year of really disappointing baseball, and we haven't heard a peep out of any player not liking him. Like not one word. Normally there is
No.
some kind of scuttlebutt. Even like the Saints, who well, I'll just bring back because I know it so well. Last year there was a lot going on about people not liking Dennis Allen, and he didn't get fired. But there was like if he would have gotten fired, no one would have been surprised and there would have been a
No.
lot of reasons to do it, and they stayed with him. It's working out so far. But like, well, my point is, when you have bad seasons and it's the coach that's not well liked, you hear about it. It's not suppressed. We all knew people didn't like Mike Matheny. So I don't think he deserves what's happened. But I think, do you think any fan, like the average fan that doesn't like what's going on, that they're not showing up to games because of Mosaic, they just they're not going to move on until all of Mo's people are gone. I don't think.
Yeah.
The people
Yeah,
that
I
they
agree
know.
with you.
Like they're not going to know if Randy Flores is still there,
I think
but they are
the
going to
way that
know
you
if Marmol is still there.
the way you summed it up at the beginning of this podcast was spot on. That it's if you're going to do it, then you do it. You do it all the way. And I think fans would appreciate that. I am just really intrigued to see. And again, we've got 6 more months to talk about this, but I am really intrigued to see that if the Cardinals go the way that you and I talked on this podcast of let's not go out and sign. I mean, they've already talked about not cutting payroll because of the Diamond Sports stuff and fill in the blanks, however, whatever the reason is. So if you're not going to spend a lot of money, which is fine, you and I've talked on here, it's not spending more money, it's how you spend the money, but it's also developing the guys that you can fill in. See the Milwaukee Brewers, see the Tampa Bay Rays, see the Cleveland Guardians. We can keep
Or
going.
like develop guys and then pay them like the Braves do.
Yes, agreed. But what I was going to say is, if you're going to do that, I am really intrigued to see what attendance looks like in 2025. If they're honest with it and they say, we are making a change, Mo gone, Oli gone, everyone gone, clean house. We've got a new staff. We're going to go this year with the young guys, and then we will reassess at the end of that and go into the free agent market at the end of 2025 with hopefully money to spend, because hopefully by then the cable deal is worked out. What it fill in, maybe you've got young guys with another year under their belts, whatever that looks like. I'm really intrigued to see, do Cardinal fans come back for opening day weekend? Do they come back for special events, or do they come back, or do they just say, because you know what the weird thing is to me, dude? Look around MLB stadiums right now. The Guardians are in first place and no one goes to the games.
That's
the
always
Twins
been.
Do what?
I mean, unfortunately for Cleveland, they've had attendance issues for a long time.
But it's not just them. I've been watching
Kansas City, dude. Did you see Kansas City today? They were playing another. They were playing another playoff team, and it was like empty.
It's wild. No one is going to games, and I don't understand it.
I don't market better. You have some of the brightest stars this sport has ever seen, and I can watch. I can sit down and watch ESPN and not to get like with commercials. I'll see Caitlin Clark. I'll see Mahomes. I'll see Dak Prescott and Stephen Curry on commercials. I don't see Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge very often.
No.
Like, get these guys sponsorship deals. I should be seeing Shohei Ohtani in between every single commercial break everywhere. And I'm not.
Aaron Judge was on Paw Patrol.
I know, and he was like 0 for like 25 after that. Yeah. After he appeared on it.
I agreed on the marketing. I'm intrigued to see. Also, do you know that I was like a week ago years old when I found out that the White Sox can't be in the lottery because they are considered a major market team, and they're bad. That's a bad rule.
No, it's not baseball. That. It's I think it's 3 years in a row of top 10 picks. You can't have 4. That's great. Great rule. I love it. Stop teams from tanking. I
get it. I get that.
I don't like tanking. I don't like tanking at all. I hate it.
What if you're just bad at your job?
Then they should be fired.
They fired a lot of people.
The Orioles are fun and exciting, but I'm kind of tired of people acting like this organization did some awesome thing.
Right.
The only guy they got and there was a great pick. There wasn't a number 1, 2, or 3 overall pick was Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
Because he was in the second round. Everybody else, it was like, oh yeah, you got Adley Rutschman, who everybody knew.
Well, the Astros did the same thing
in college. Right. Agreed. Yeah. But the Astros at least got some guys from the Dominican, like Framber and stuff. Like the Orioles just drafted Jackson Holiday, easy pick. Adley Rutschman, easy pick. I don't know how Gunnar fell to them, but he did. Grayson Rodriguez was a top 3 pick. Obviously, you're getting good players when you're the worst team in baseball for 5 years.
Yeah.
Cubs did the same thing. I thought
that was interesting. Poor White Sox. They're a shame. I think you could count.
They can't even draft right.
You could pause your TV and you could count everyone in the stadium there. And they want a new stadium, which they do need one. That place, been there, probably need to move that place.
It's in not the best area. But,
no.
Which sucks because that is
it does. It's a cool stadium. Been there twice.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Yeah. And that organization, though, that's a great fan base too. They just don't have anything to go for. Is there even one player that you would pay money to go see there? I know Luis Roberts done some cool things, but he wasn't good this year.
I like Garrett Crochet.
You go pay money to watch him throw 3 innings.
Well, but next year. I'm talking about next year, not now.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, next year he won't be a White Sox.
Oh, okay. But if they did trade him at the deadline, then why would they trade him in the offseason?
Because there's literally reports out there that Chris Getz was flustered and just shut everything down because he didn't want to continue making trades because everybody crapped on every trade he made. I don't know if that's legitimate, but there are reports out there that have said that, which is wild.
Yeah,
But that's
well.
the thing. Chris
All
Getz,
right.
but
Well, I don't have anything
they
else
really
to
play.
talk about the 2024 Cardinals because right now I am in full New Orleans Saints mode
Ooh, I'm so
and
excited.
I'm just frustrated by the Cardinals. I didn't wear a hat today. I was like, fuck it.
I'm kind of concerned that every Eagles fan seems to think the Saints are going to win.
This has trap game written all over it. There's no, and not, I don't
But it
think
can't
trap
really be
games,
a trap game because the Eagles
not a
are
trap
good.
game, but it does have one of those like letdown maybe. But I
I
just
don't
don't
know
know that
though.
with
Like, I'm trying to think of ways they lose, and like, how are the Eagles receivers going to get open when you have Lattimore
the
on
only
Devontae
two
Smith?
ways you lose, in my opinion, is you allow Jalen Hurts and Saquon to beat you with their legs. Like, because in the past, the Saints have struggled with running quarterbacks. However, we have Willie Gay and a healthy Demario Davis, who continues to be the Benjamin Button of the NFL and gets better every week, even
He
though
gets
he
no
gets
credit for
older.
it. He gets no
None. Well,
credit
he
for it.
does. If you hold on, if you listen to the broadcast from former NFL players and from broadcasters, he does get credit.
Former NFL players, sure, but
Yeah.
I like no one talks about him. Like he's not Fred
No.
Warner, but like he is one of the best middle linebackers in football. Like
It
Fred Warner
has
is
been for the
obviously
last
the
5 to 7
best.
years.
More than
But
that, like 10 years.
and then the other thing is if the Saints turn the ball over, like that's the one. Like
I don't think
you can
the one
never
thing I'm
guess on that.
the one thing I'm curious about, we're going to the Saints part. If you're still here, I don't know how you are because the Cardinals are so boring. The one thing that I am concerned about is the Saints have been really good at running the ball, and they've been really good at using play action off of that. What happens if they fall behind and teams know they're not running the ball? That's what I'm interested to see. Can Derek Carr get you back into games? I don't know. When people know he's throwing the ball and play actions won't fool them. That's one thing. And also, like if you fall behind the Eagles, we just talked about the running game. They're going to just have 8-minute drives and you will lose. So don't fall behind.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the thing. And if you load the box, the good thing is no AJ Brown. And then I will take our corners against any wide receivers for the most part in the game.
Dude, our corner,
So
it's this team is so talented. I don't know how no one saw it. You have
I did. I've been talking about it.
Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo on your outside. Then you have the best nickel corner in football in Alontae Taylor. And then you just have Khalil McKinstry sitting on the sideline waiting to come in. Like that's ridiculous. And Will Harris is like killing people in the second in the
and you
Will
got
Harris
Mike and you
Tyrann
got the Honey
Mathieu.
Badger taking people's heads off again and getting
And
every turnover.
Will Harris almost decapitated CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Dude, CeeDee Lamb's a beast, by the way. That guy's so good.
But it's gonna be I think that I can't wait for that game. I'm
-3. Who are you?
I was nervous last week, and then I couldn't believe what I was watching.
I know. It's almost like I almost feel like they've been so good that it's hard for me to see them crashing yet. They will lose a game.
I've said this multiple times, and I'll say it again. This is the exact feeling I had in 1999 with The Greatest Show on Turf, where you were waiting for Kurt Warner to crash, right? Oh, it was great start, 2-0, whatever. Great start, great start. When is it going to happen? And it just kept getting better and better. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. That's the same feeling I have when you watch Shaheed, like Torrey Holt became a star in front of our eyes. We're sort of watching Rashid Shaheed do the same thing. AK looks like, not going to say he's Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk lives in rarefied air for me, but he looks like it's the same usage. Do you know what? It's the same usage.
If Pete Carmichael didn't, if Pete Carmichael knew how to do his job a little bit, Alvin Kamara would be on his route to the Hall of Fame, but now he's not because of 3 down years. What was I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I think Derek Carr is performing like Brock Purdy with a lot more talent. He's
Derek Carr looks like Derek Carr did when he was healthy in Las Vegas.
No, I don't think he's better than that. But he's better than that because he's as efficient as Brock Purdy was because Brock Purdy had all the runs to Christian McCaffrey to where everything was wide open over the middle. That's what he's doing right now. But he can do what Brock Purdy can't do, which is throw a 70-yard bomb to Rashid Shaheed.
The difference is Purdy can beat you with his legs. That's the one difference.
And the biggest difference to me is that Derek Carr can I think he has the highest QBR in football and passes over 20 yards.
Yeah, he throws the deep ball well.
Brock Purdy doesn't do that.
Yep. So, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. And you know what? Hopefully Taysom plays. I still have not heard anything on that. That's what I heard. So hopefully he goes through that
Limited,
and everything is fine.
And Marshawn's definitely gonna play.
I'm intrigued.
Even if Taysom's not playing, I think they'll be fine. But
have you looked? He needs to play. Have you looked at the line? I have not.
They're -3.
Okay. All right. I don't love that, but okay.
I take it. I think they win.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you. If you stuck around, I don't know why you did that, but thank you anyway.
Just wait until I get into Chase Young.
We
next
will
week.
be on the Rambling Redbirds this weekend. And I think is that all we've got? Or do you have anything else before we get out of here?
I had my first hockey broadcast on Friday. That's all I've got.
Oh, all right. Go get them.
I had to write less than fun VO. If you do television, you know what that means. If you don't, it's just like a little
No,
script
bad
on
podcasting here.
Terrence Shannon Jr. That's what I've done.
Okay. So you have your first one Friday?
Yeah, but it's not live. It's a taped one because we're
Who
making
do
sure
they
we
play?
run it. Michigan State.
Okay. Go beat Sparty.
They're gonna win 7-1 or lose 7-1. That's how that hockey league is. It's club hockey.
All
It's
right.
not even like affiliated with the NCAA.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're the Jim Hayes of it, so you better do your job.
I know. I need to. Yeah, whatever.
All right. All right, let's get out of here. Guys, we will talk to you soon again. We'll be on the Rambling Redbirds with Jake this weekend, but we'll be back probably on Monday, is my guess, because Saints Sunday, probably not going to do a podcast.
Tuesday.
Unless we,
Let's do Tuesday. I have a show on Monday.
Okay, there we go. Probably be back Tuesday, where I do believe the Cardinals will officially be eliminated, and probably another Cardinal will have had an impingement that we'll never see play again. So we will talk to you soon. Go Cards.